Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good morning to everybody. Today, we are SAS International Techno Drama Competition. So, with today we're going to have a pro tip session, and we've been given 1 hour to talk about um, tips that could be exchanged with the judges over here. So, first of all, I'm going to introduce myself, which is my name is Johan, and I'm currently studying at Sekolah Sultan Alam Shah. And over there is my friend Huzair.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm also the host for this workshop. My name is Huze Zikri. You guys can call me Huze, and I'm also studies at Sekolah Sultan Alam Shah. And today, but before we continue, I want to say thank you so much for you guys that watching this live right now, and don't forget to click the subscribe button below there, and also follow our Instagram, Sas Techno Drama.
Yes,
Okay.
definitely. So before we're moving into the sessions, of course we need to introduce our really handsome judge and Miss Christina over there. So first, Mr. Ghazi Al-Qudsi over here. Ghazi Al-Qudsi earned a Master of Fine Arts in Filmmaking from Film Factory, an intensive program established by Hungarian filmmaker Belata. He has directed over 65 short films presented at various film festivals in Europe and Asia. In 2014, he produced the feature-length omnibus documentary Lost in Bosnia, regarded as a collective poem about the act of filmmaking at a critical film historical moment. His debut feature film, Temporary Visa, garnered the Best Film Award in the Discovery section at the Asian Film Festival, Barcelona. In 2021, Ghazi contributed a segment to the feature-length omnibus, Letters from the Ends of the World, which is one of the opening film for Sarajevo Film Festival. Currently, Ghazi holds the position of Deputy Dean at the Faculty of Cinematic Arts, Multimedia University.
Thank you, Johan. Let's move on to our second judge, Miss Christina. Miss Christina Ruslan is a stop-motion animator, filmmaker, multidisciplinary artist and lecturer from Subang Jaya, Malaysia. Surrounded by a vibrant family of mixed heritage and race, she draws inspiration from the people she meets, widely colored things, her travels, and her memories of growing up in the small town of P7 in the English countryside. Over a decade of personal research and development in stop-motion animation, her works include independent films, commercial work, advertisement, and educational content. Christina prioritizes teaching through her art. Her visual style is usually that of whimsical and surrealistic nature with the use of colors to interpret emotions. Experience gathered from her work is shared with her students as she teaches subjects on film, animation, advertising design, and animation design. Her works and films are heavily influenced by the works of directors such as Guillermo del Toro, Terry Gilliam, Wes Anderson, Tim Burton, and books of Dr. Seuss. Focusing on high contrast, dreamlike imaginative other worlds filled with weird creatures and odd humor. Her films have been featured in SEA Sea Shorts, the Imaginary Exhibition at Singapore Art Museum, Mini Kino Film Fest, and many others.
So, unfortunately there is also another judge, but he couldn't join us today. So I'll also be introducing him, which is Mr. Adam Zainal. Adam Zainal, born in 1996, is a graduate of the Faculty of Cinematic Arts at Multimedia University Johor, Malaysia. His short film Kantoi was nominated for the Best Short Film Award at Freedom Film Festival 2018, and it was selected for the top 3 short films at Malaysia International Film Festival 2019. It also has over 1 million views on YouTube. Adam Zainal has a penchant for eccentric people, and he draws inspiration from his relationships with them. His voice as a filmmaker mainly focuses on youth and, and the journey of growth. Adam has a desire to expand his horizons and showcase his storytelling abilities by exploring the realm of commercials.
Wow, that's unique. Okay.
So, Mr. Adam Zainal will be answering our questions. Will be answering our questions by using short videos that he sent to us. So now is the main part of our session today. We'll be moving on to the questions. So, first question, how do we make our videos stand out from the rest? Mr. Ghazi?
Uh, I think the foundation of all videos, whether it's any kind of medium, TikTok or animation or even TV, film, the first thing that you need to emphasize is storytelling. Story is
Hmm.
important. At the end of it, I think I do not want to say what the audience can learn, but what the audience can feel out of it, because
Yeah.
it's a medium that convey emotions,
Yes.
and I want, or I, when I make my films, I want my audience to feel stronger through the narrative of storytelling. Yeah.
That's really deep answer there that we
Oh,
could dive into.
Yeah.
So
okay.
moving on to Miss Christina over there. The same question.
Oh, okay.
Do
How do you make it stand out? Okay, so definitely it's the same thing. So storytelling is very
yes.
important. Um, Now, there's telling a story, and then there's also being authentic in telling the story. So I find the best things in film is when somebody tells a story from their own personal experience, because the audience will then watch it and then they will feel connected with your work. So when you have an audience that feels connected with your work, it stands out than something that feels artificial.
Understand.
Mm.
Yes.
I think I'd
Ah,
like to add on. I think what you say, something from your own self, is very, very important.
Mm.
Exactly.
Because personal stories are the one that stands out the most.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
I give you an example. If you feel that you are lonely,
Mm.
and you make a film about a character of a person who is lonely, who has the lack of perhaps friends,
Mm.
people out there who watch this may connect,
Yep.
and it's bringing others around to basically see, hey, I'm not alone. There are
Yes.
people like that.
Yeah.
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 oh,
So,
Connecting
understand.
yeah.
people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Miss Christina and Mr. Ghazi. But let's see Mr. Zainal's answer through the video. Okay.
Hi, you're Adam Zainal, right?
Hi, my name is Adam Zainal and I will be one of the judges.
Do you mind if we have few questions to ask you?
Yeah, sure.
Number one, how do we make our videos stand out from the rest?
I think if your video looks very good, it has a good character, good camera work, good editing. Overall, it looks like a film, like a movie. I think it will stand out. Especially when I'm judging it, I want to make sure that I am watching a good movie.
It's a good segue to our second.
So, there is it, the video from Mr. Adam Zainal there. Very interesting answer he's given to us, and
Exactly.
us filmmakers could use that pro tip as something to use in our filmmaking. Anyways, moving on to the second question, as we have a lot of questions today. What's the first thing you look for when judging a video?
For me, I think a lot of judges, we've gone through experiences judging films. A lot of judges have their own perspective of what they're looking for. And for me as a film director, I always look for honesty.
Honesty.
How honest the film is, and how the director actually put across an emotion that he or she has felt and wants to share it with the rest. And you cannot achieve that without honesty. Yeah. What about
Exactly.
you, Christina?
Mm. Okay, sorry, I'm gonna go into the aesthetics of it all.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Me, yeah.
As a judge, there is the story you tell, and then there's the way you tell it. Okay.
Yeah.
So you could have the best story, and I say this to my students all the time.
Mm,
You could have the best story, but if it is not presented in the best way,
mm,
if you don't think about things like cinematography, you don't think about color, you don't think about technique, um, that story will not go through,
Understand.
right? So aesthetically, I always look for the what we are seeing on
The
screen has
visual
to,
of the film,
yes, what you're seeing on screen has to match the story that you're
the
trying to tell.
emotion.
Yes, only then will you
Understand,
successfully
understand.
put the story forward. It's what makes the difference between a student film
Mm.
versus
Yes.
a professional film.
Yes, I
Mm.
understand Miss Kisina's what she's trying to give a point to us, which is, for example, we can see a unique style of Wes Anderson in his films, right?
Yeah.
He has a unique cut scenes and
Mm.
unique
Yeah.
filters of his films. So we also have an answer for this from Mr. Adam Zainal. So let's play it.
What's the first thing you look for when judging a video?
The first thing that I will always look at is actually the characters. As an audience or also, the judge, we always like follow the characters when we watch a film, right? So I think like if your characters are interesting, they're fun, I think that is something that I will always, the first thing that I will look at.
Thank you so much, Mr. Adam Zainal, for your answer. So moving on, the third question, who's I? Read it out for me, please.
All right, let's move on to our third question. What is one thing teams always forget to do? What do you think?
Who? Which one? You asking me?
Miss
Uh,
Christina
Yeah,
first this
sure.
time. So.
Okay. What do teams always forget to do? Work together. Okay. I think being very honest. So I'm going to go into the technical side of things.
yes.
Being very honest from the beginning, what each member in the team can contribute to your
Film.
production,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Because some people are good at technical, some people are good at storytelling and art
Mm,
direction. So make sure from the beginning everyone's very honest about what they can contribute so that the whole team can manage your expectations and you guys can work as seamlessly as possible.
Yes.
Mm. Yeah.
I totally agree with her because filmmaking or any form of collaborative art requires unity in
Mm.
the whole team. It's not a question of hierarchy, who
Mm.
is higher, I'm the director, or I'm the producer, I say the things.
Yes.
But you realize that collaboration require everybody to just listen to each other.
Mm.
Perhaps someone who is doing something technical can actually give a very beautiful suggestion.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's where the creation of the film, the art happens. That
Mm.
magic happens when you guys collaborate. Yeah.
It's not a
understand.
dictatorship. It's
Yes.
never a dictatorship.
I
Mm.
see. That's a new thing I've learned today
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
filmmaking. So also an answer from Mr. Adam Zainal. Play the third video.
all right.
What's one thing teams always forget to do?
Hmm. Communication, sometimes like when they don't communicate, things will fall apart. That's why you need to always like talk to each other and always communicate. And I think you need to know that it's a team effort. It's a group work. So if you don't work together, things can fall apart, It takes a lot of people to build a building, Same thing when they want to make a film as well. So that's why I think when it comes to like teamwork, it's very important in filmmaking.
Thank you very much, Sir Adam Zainal. So I think that's all the videos that he sent to us, but there's another one for the final
For the-
question, which is the grand question.
Yes.
So for the fourth question, what are the essential elements to consider before starting a film project?
For me, it's gathering the right people for every project requires a group of people. And it doesn't mean that it needs to be the same group of people.
Hmm.
But most importantly is you need to find a team that basically enjoy working together.
Together.
That can
Yes.
contribute to the working of
Yes.
the film.
Yes.
Because the whole process of filmmaking may take days, may take weeks, may
Yes.
take
Yes.
months, and along the way, if you don't feel like working with someone is not it's not comfortable, I think it's not a good thing because like we've said earlier, communication is the key word there, and magic can only happen when everybody is happy. Yeah. Christina?
I would say, okay, key elements would be time, motivation, and money. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the reality of it.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first thing is why I say time first. You have to be realistic in the amount of time that you have to do the work
Yes.
and make sure that you can get it done in that amount of
Yes.
time.
Correct.
Motivation is for making sure that everyone on the team is going in the right direction, in the same direction, right? So just like what they were saying just now about communication and all that, everyone has to be motivated towards the one goal, meaning everyone has to believe in the project, right? You
Yes.
cannot finish the film if there's one person on the team who doesn't believe in the project, right? So everyone has to be on the same page. And money is just being able to know with the amount of funding or with the amount that you're putting into it, what
Yes.
is the quality that you can achieve. So it's fine for things to be cheap, but they have to be of what you wanted
Yeah.
them to be.
Exactly.
Miss Christina, I
Mm,
want to ask something.
sure.
Okay, what are your tips to create a time, I mean like to manage time because we students,
Hmm.
like
Tend
we
to.
learn, we have classes,
Right.
and how can we students manage time and still contribute to that, to our drama, our
Okay.
short film?
Um, I think in the beginning, because we have this thing when you're doing your final year project, we have this thing called Gantt chart. Have you guys ever heard of a Gantt chart?
No.
So it's
No.
GANTT, right? So what that is you split your project into a pre-production, a production, and a post-production,
Post-production.
right? So we all know that. But you have to kind of figure out. So what you would usually do, you have a team, right? So you split your team into a group of people who can do pre-production, a group that can do that,
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
Why I'm saying that is so that there are members of the team that have some downtime. So
Yes.
maybe these team members don't come in yet. So they come in later, and then you replace, right?
Oh.
So that way, not everyone is working at the same
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can allocate if someone needs to go back to their
Yeah.
hometown, or if somebody
that's
has an
that.
emergency,
Mm.
there are people to replace,
Oh,
So
right?
basically, rotation is the key. Yeah,
Rotation, I mean,
rotation
for
important.
me, that's worked the
Yeah.
best. It's just to make sure that there's always somebody to cover the work when the other person is there, so
Yes.
that work keeps going. So
Yes.
that's how you
understand,
manage.
understand.
Mm.
Okay.
But
Okay.
also to add on, I think the most important for me is the respect for time.
Yes.
So when once, like Miss Christina said, that you do your time management, this is
Mm-mm.
when I want to do the work,
Yep.
this is the schedule for part B.
Mm.
Follow that.
Follow.
Do
Yes.
not procrastinate, because
Mm.
procrastination is the disease.
Yes. Yes.
Mm.
The moment you do not follow the time schedule, the whole
Yep.
project will crumble.
It will. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mm.
understand. Okay.
Exactly. I think I really agree to that because
Oh,
Yeah.
very
I've
useful.
also think that rotation is something that could affect much in filmmaking, so that every member of the team has time for each
Yes.
other.
Yes.
Correct.
So if without rotation, I think it will also bring to a little bit of argument in the team
Yes.
Argument.
as everybody doesn't cooperate with each other.
Yes, yes. Overworking leads to
Yes.
arguments, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you need to also prioritize rest
Yes.
within the group. Mm.
Okay.
Oh, think.
So moving on to the fifth question, what are your recommendations for developing a script that captures attention from the beginning?
This is important one.
Yeah.
Oh.
Watch as many films as
Mm.
possible,
Hmm.
because it's dangerous to make a film when you don't watch films, or
Mm.
be it animation, be it any YouTube videos, you need to watch. The reason why I say watch more films is because you get inspired by doing what other do.
Yeah, I
So you can
understand.
actually, oh, this is how he does this. Why don't I just get inspired and perhaps
Yep.
learn something and adopt it
Yep.
to my project?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Watching a lot of films, because I teach film studies, right?
Yes.
So one of the main thing is everything that you guys watch now. I don't know what everyone's watching now, the new Gen Z thing. But all of that came from there's an original source to that.
Uh-huh.
So understanding film theory, understanding why some scripts are the way that they are.
Yep.
You know, like action movies, they start right at the beginning, and it's like the first line is an action line, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Versus a slow burn where maybe the first half of the movie is just silence. But even
Mm.
in that silence, because we're so focused on what we're seeing on screen, your audience is like, it's hooked
Yeah.
to seeing what's
Oh,
happening, right?
I
So
understand.
a good script isn't a script with lots of words. A good script is guiding your audience to the main point and making it, having that anticipation
Yes.
for that.
And also to ensure the audience does not leave your film
Yes,
and
yes. You also don't want it to be boring as well,
yeah,
yeah.
keep
Okay.
their eyes on your
Mm.
film.
And you will realize that if you watch a lot of films, it's basically show not tell. I
Mm.
give you an
Yeah. Yeah.
example. It's easy to just say, if a boy and a girl, I love you, you
Mm-hmm.
know.
Mm.
But instead, the medium of film cannot tell. I love you means telling.
Yes.
Yep.
Instead, you need to think about actions. Like for example, the boy go buy flower
Yes. Yes.
for the girl. So
Mm.
that's the medium. That's what film requires: show but not tell.
Understand? Okay,
Yeah.
thank you so much. I have one question that is from our viewers.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. He or she asked that how do you handle disagreements in a creative team? How do you handle disagreements in a creative team?
Mm. Uh, Go ahead.
I think, like I said earlier, if you get everybody in your team who believes in the project,
Mm.
everything will be easy. So, for example, a very easy example. I love horror films. I want to make horror films. If you ask someone who loves action films, along the way there might be some
Argument.
disagreement.
Yes.
So if you get everybody who loves horror films, they will end up watching a lot of horror
Mm-hmm.
films together, get inspired, and they will love. At the end of it, everybody takes ownership of that project.
Yes.
What about you?
Okay, we have a lot of these issues with our students sometimes. So, disagreements, right? There's always going to be disagreements. You're always going to disagree with your group mates, with people in general. What we like to do is we like to have these mediated sessions where you guys sit as a group and you talk about it. But the main point of that is that I think it's so easy because we're used to texting, we're used to, even now, like if somebody calls me on the phone, I'll panic to
Yeah.
answer the phone because I'm not used to like talking on the phone anymore. So I think we need to prioritize sitting, and again, it goes back down to communication, sitting
Yes.
and talking to your group
Discussion.
mates,
Yes.
discussing in a way that is not pointing blame. It's more of
Mm.
like a honestly playing the role of like therapist at this point.
Mm-hmm.
There has to be someone who say, okay, I felt like this happened, blah blah blah, and I'm not happy with that. And then you let the other person respond, right?
Yeah.
So you all talk about it, try to come to a consensus,
Mm-hmm.
and then try to move on from there. And I think on top of resolving disagreements like that, it's also important to check in with your group mates.
Yeah. Yeah.
Meaning like this sounds so
Duh.
corporate,
Yeah.
but it is good to have team building
Yeah,
exercises
true.
to hang out with them. We won't call it team building. We'll call it like go to an escape room or like a rage room or something,
Bonding.
right?
Yeah.
Bonding,
Yeah.
right?
Bonding.
So because it's one thing to work together, it's another thing to be friends.
Yep.
You have to like the
Exactly.
person,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
You don't want to come to set every day and then just
Yeah.
feel like strangling
Feel
the person.
awkward every day.
Yes,
It's
yeah.
just going to make the filmmaking hard with each
Yes.
other, with each other,
Yes. Yeah. Mm.
Okay. So thank you to the viewer for that generous question.
Uh,
So
let's
um,
move on to our
6.
sixth
Yes.
question. Do you like stories that have a moral or lesson?
Or a
Lesson.
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 A moral or a lesson?
What you do prefer?
I think the answers are going to be different for a lot of the judges because that's what the whole process of judging because everybody have different background and
Yeah.
everybody believes film in a different way. But there's no right or wrong. For me, I don't look for message or I don't look for lesson. I think that is the duty of PSA video, public
Oh,
service
yes,
Yep.
announcement.
yes, yes.
Oh.
I look for a film that has a story that is honest and also I feel something.
Yep.
So, for example, it's a story about someone who just lost his or her grandmother, and I will be able to relate because perhaps I've lost. I've just lost something like that.
Yes.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
about you?
Um, Good films to me, I'm not sure about everyone else, but good films to me make you think, but not about the story, but about yourselves,
Mm-hmm.
right? So when you watch a film, it's not so much, when I watch a really good film, it's not because I'm thinking about the story. I'm thinking about how it made me think about something else that's going on, maybe in my life or someone else's life, or it's making me relate to something, right? So it makes you reinterpret the story. So a story could be anything. Somebody could be inspired by a retelling of Alice in Wonderland,
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah.
right? When the nature of Alice in Wonderland was about, she was escaping her family and all that. It has its story, but everyone who's watched it has processed it in their own different way, right? So that's what I think. I mean, it's to me, it's more important if it creates a discourse in your mind. Mm.
But I also need to point out that
Mm.
to all the participants out there,
Mm.
do not set or the first thing you make a film is to listen to the judge and what he or she
Yes.
likes
Yes.
because that is very dangerous.
Mm.
I've gone through or we've gone through film process, the whole judging process where it's not a film that we really kind of like, but
Mm.
a good film is a good film.
Yep.
Yes.
It connects. It's not a film that our type that we will make, but if it's a good film, it
Yeah.
starts well. It's a good film, and I always use this story to my students. Filmmaking is like making this Malay dish called tapai, fermented
Rice.
rice,
Yep.
Yes.
because there's this saying that if you make the tapai in a happy mood, the tapai will be sweet.
Mm.
If you make the
Oh.
tapai when you are angry or you're not happy, it
That's
will
true.
be sour.
Mm.
So same goes like filmmaking. If everybody is happy, the film will be good.
The film will
Yeah.
be good. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really important factor in filmmaking as to be honest, filmmaking is really relatable with teamwork and cooperation
Yes.
with each other.
Teamwork, contribution,
Yes.
and the emotions that they have on that film.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay, we have one more question from the viewer. What make uh, what makes a good film?
Oh, that's a big question. What makes a good film? What does make a good film? A good film is a good film.
Yeah.
There's no one answer
Yeah,
to
there's
this
no.
because you need a filmmaking requires a lot of components.
Mm, yeah.
You need to have a
Correct.
good production value.
Mm.
You need to have a good story. You need to have a good actor or
yes.
actress. You
Script,
need to have a
visual.
good visual.
Yeah.
So it is like making. I like to use cooking as my example. If you want to make a dish, let's say as simple as a Malaysian dish,
Nasi lemak.
nasi lemak.
Ah.
You need you need the
Oh,
sambal. You
yeah.
need the ikan bilis. And if you don't have one ingredient missing, everything will
Yeah.
fall down. Yeah.
There's no one good film.
Yeah.
There are some people who primarily only prefer gore films,
Oh.
right? There are some people who like political dramas. There are some people who
Yep.
like romance. So that's a very
Diverse.
it's a very like what is it totally like a way of seeing it where it's just like, oh, it can only be one thing. Film, there's no such thing of a
Yeah.
good film. There's no such thing. A good film is a film that comes across to the people that you intend it to come across to,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
It is for that target audience. It is for that person, and if you're lucky, it will affect the people around that
Yep.
as well, right?
Because it's a really general
It
question.
is,
We
yeah.
didn't filter it out, but
Mm,
it's a good question anyways because
Yes.
there are some factors that are important in a good film. For example, if a good film manages to produce a lot of money from that film in the theater, I think that's considered a good film anyways.
Very
Because
Yeah.
business minded.
yeah,
Yeah.
because for example, the Formula One movie currently, right, it's really hot in the market because of a few factors as they have put a lot of budget in it. For example, the cast itself and the actors. So yeah, I
Mm.
think it's a general question and it depends on who's asking it.
Yes,
Yes.
I think you brought out a very good point there, and I appreciate it because film is it's a medium where it's different from painting, it's different from sculpture.
Yeah.
It's because film is one medium that puts in art and business
Mm.
together.
Mm.
You can be so artistic, you can be adamant of like this is how I want it to be, but when it goes to the mainstream media, it may not be what they want.
Yep.
So it's trying to find a point where in the middle where art meets commerce.
Balance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Balance. So, moving on. Thank you for the question, viewer. I hope you've got an answer to that.
Yeah.
Um,
Seventh question.
Seventh question. What kind of story do you like the most? Funny, sad, or exciting?
I feel like
Uh,
all these questions are just, everyone's just like, I want to know what the judges think.
Yes.
And I want to make exactly what the judges want to
What?
see. uh, again, so that was answered in the previous question, right?
mhm.
Okay, it's not about, whether or not we like what's sad, funny, or, happy and
Exciting,
all
yeah.
that. It's whether or not you, as the filmmaker, successfully
Hook the,
made that
yeah.
point come
Mhm.
across. So it it wouldn't matter if the story was a happy story or a sad story if
Yep.
it came across as like, instead of being funny, it came across as like cringy or like weird,
Mm.
or if it was supposed to be sad but it feels very fake. So um, rather than focusing on like whether or not the judges or people like sad stories or happy stories, I think the main focus should be on whether or not you can accurately portray these feelings on screen.
Yep.
Mm.
I
And I
agree.
agree with her because it's really not about what we like.
Yes.
We as judges, we would like to give a platform to the winning film for them to realize this is what I really want.
Mm.
And
Mhm.
I want the winning film, the winning team to be on the stage collecting the winning prize and saying that we did this because we believe and we really like this. Yeah.
Mm.
I understand.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's one of the actually a little bit run out of question answer, but it's a really good tip there
Mm.
that we could find and use in the film. So moving on, number eight, would you advise beginners to focus on simple filmmaking styles, or is it worth experimenting with more complex techniques?
You want to answer first?
Um, Oof. I always say experiment, experiment, and experiment.
Mhm.
Always try new
Yes.
things.
Yep.
If you fail, um, you just know that it doesn't work, and then you just move on and you
Yep.
try something
Mm.
new. I think staying too safe makes for boring movies.
Yes. Yes.
um, Doing the same thing because you think that that's what is expected of you and what the judges want or what other people want,
Yep.
creates a nothing kind of film. So I would always encourage just to, unless you're doing something like, even,
Mhm.
no, actually, even if you're doing documentary filmmaking, there are ways to experiment in the way that you're telling it, right?
Yep.
There's a lot of if I'm going to talk about like a documentary, right? There's a lot of remakes where they talk about the lives of serial killers, right?
Mm.
And what always gets to me is when they try different perspectives, right? So that's the experimental part. So say that you're trying to tell the story of someone and this person's evil, right? But you tell it from the perspective of the victims. You tell it from the perspective of people watching this thing happen, not, and you're not glorifying the perpetrator himself, right? So
Villain
that's what
himself,
we
yeah.
mean by being experimental.
Yep.
There are it could be experimental in terms of art styles, it could be experimental in terms of storytelling, but always, to me, my opinion is always experiment and always try new things because you never know what could be your new
Yep.
thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Ghazi?
You said it well.
Uh,
I think, like I said, it's art and commerce.
yep.
If you think about the film way, it's easy to just repeat the same thing as long
Yes.
whatever the
Yes,
audience
yes.
want.
Yep.
But at one point the audience doesn't grow.
Yes.
If you think about art, if you go too much experimentation, audience may not like it.
Yep.
So finding the balance, but at the same time continue, doing all this experiment, because in the end, I think for filmmakers, new filmmakers, they have nothing to lose.
Yeah.
The most they have, whatever budget they put in, it's perhaps a few hundreds. But when we make big films,
Yep.
we're talking about millions of dollars.
Mm.
That's
Yeah,
when you need to start thinking,
Yeah.
should I
Is it
experiment
worth
too
the
much?
risk?
Yes.
Yeah.
So for
Yes.
now, experiment.
Go crazy.
Yeah.
Experiment,
Yeah.
try something new, and always take inspiration from other big creators.
Yes. Yep.
Yes.
Risks are important,
They
take a
are.
big
They
step.
are calculated
Yeah.
risk,
Yes.
but risk nonetheless.
So, number 8, would you advise, oh, this is the same question. Number 9, sorry. How can creators effectively use color schemes and lighting to enhance the mood and message of the video? So basically, is it color grading, right? This is color grading, yeah.
Um, Color grading is an aspect that is very important in filmmaking. It's even key. It's the same level where you start thinking, what camera should I use?
Yeah.
So like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
said, every in a film like Nasi Lemak, it has so many components.
Mhm.
Color grading is one of the components,
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and you need to start thinking, should my film start to be in black and white? Should my film be high contrast? As early as in the beginning of the production, or even the beginning of when you start writing the script. Yeah.
The color grading is so important to make sure the object is pop out.
Yes.
And the audience can see clearly.
Depending whether
Definitely.
that's your intention.
Yes.
Yeah.
The
I,
motive, the motive.
I think
Yeah.
basic color grading, things to look out for is, you know, again, you were making a point about things to pop out, right, on screen. So if you want your human, like the person, the talent to stand out against the background, a common mistake that very early filmmakers make is that when you're editing, you're staring at your subject and you're looking at it and you're trying to get
Yes.
the skin tone right, but then you don't realize that the trees are now like green screen green,
Yeah.
or the sky is yellow, right? Because
Yeah.
you're so focused on the skin, you forget that everything else is going,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So color grading, make sure that you step back and view it as a whole rather than you're
yeah.
just focusing on your subject, because
Yep.
sometimes when you focus too much on your subject, you forget that other things are changing as well.
Okay, so, but I think color grading is really not that important, is it?
No, no.
Very important.
Extremely
Yes.
important. Color grading ties into the mood, okay?
Ah,
Because color is everything. It's
Yep.
light, it's textures, it's how things are portrayed on the screen. A very intense moment in drama can be heightened
Yeah.
with creative color play, right? So I've seen scenes in film where they're doing like a dream sequence, and how can you tell? Like if you watch the film, have you guys watched Blade Runner? It's
yeah,
fine.
but I understand what you
Yeah,
have
so
there.
right,
it, but-
yeah. So when you watch Blade Runner, they have this kind of split lighting where everything's
yeah,
purple
yeah.
on one side,
Uh-huh.
everything's pink, right?
Yep.
And it actually heightens that feeling of like loneliness, and also, but also he's in this highly technological world and
Yep.
all that, and that is all purely just color play. So imagine if that same scene was shot with just natural lighting, you wouldn't get that feeling, right?
Get that
Expression.
mood.
That mood, because colors, it goes into color theory, right?
Yep.
So there's an entire wheel where you're just like blue is all the like sad
Mhm.
colors and then yellow. So you can actually use that to help tell your story
Wow.
even
Yeah.
better through color.
Bringing back to the example that you gave earlier, Wes
Mm.
Anderson, it's
Mm.
the works of Wes Anderson itself is very colorful,
Yep.
very whimsical. The
Yeah.
color plays a big part in the
Mm.
storytelling.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, color grading I think is also makes the film look more professional, as most of the young filmmakers currently don't put themselves into color grading as myself. That's why I didn't think that color grading was that
Mm,
important.
mm, mm.
So as you guys just said, that color grading is really one of the most important factors in film. I think, yeah, it really makes one film a really different and more expressive, which hooks the audience more, which
Yep.
is one of the most important factors
Yes,
in a
audience can
movie.
actually feel the film itself.
Yes. Yep.
So number 10, is it okay to use animation or should it all be live action?
I think it's you have the choice to do it.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't use animation or live action just for the sake of using it, if that makes sense. So sometimes
Ah,
you say to yourself like, "Oh, I want to use animation, but there's no purpose, there's no use for it."
yeah, yeah,
Or I want to do it, I don't want to do it in live action, but there's no purpose for it because
yeah.
it will be better executed in
Don't
animation.
fix what's already
Not
not broken.
fixing. It's just knowing the appropriate medium for the thing that you're going to tell.
Yeah.
If you're going to do something that's very, crazy, like your character stretches and then turns into like something else, and all, of course you would use animation for
Animation,
that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Because
yeah.
you need to push those boundaries, you need to push the realities and all that. But if it is a story of like something real, something happening to people, then live action would be the way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Understand?
Mm.
So, moving on to the next question. To what extent does audio quality, including music and sound design, influence the overall impact of a video?
Uh, as much as we say how important color grading is,
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
sound is also as important as this.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
like I said earlier, every component is important.
Mm.
The visual, the sound is very important.
Yes,
Yes.
in fact, we've always mentioned to our students that video or the visual is 50%, sound is
Yes.
50%.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm.
So I give you an example in horror films. You cannot heighten the film without sound effects.
Mm.
You know, the moment the ghost is about to appear, you will start playing, this
Creepy
certain
sound,
creepy
like
sound. Yeah.
impact, like
Yeah.
rising sound, and to make sure the audience feel like, oh no,
Yeah.
what will happen next?
Yes.
Like that.
Yes.
So, like what Miss Christina say, it all boils back to this whole thing called film studies, film theories.
Mm.
Color has its own theory, sound has its own
Yes, okay.
theory. So, and I'm sure that you can easily, with your technology, with the technology we have right now, you guys are so lucky. Google or YouTube, there's always answers to that. So, before you want to embark on that sound project or sound design, you can easily just go to YouTube and put sound theory and learn from there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, my biggest thing is stay away from the free downloadable sound effects. Please, that is a pro tip because
Yes.
as judges, as filmmakers, we can tell from a mile away when something is a downloaded sound effect. Okay, why? It's not a bad thing. I understand that there are simple sound effects like glass shattering or, footsteps and all that. Like those are, you would consider it simple.
Yeah.
But when you download something, it wasn't made for your film, right? So it sounds out of place. It sounds awkward.
Yeah.
So a lot of things that when we are watching these films, we can tell when something is like, say, a woman is walking in high heels, but you downloaded footstep sound effects, and it's just regular footsteps of someone wearing sneakers.
Yeah.
It doesn't match. It doesn't have the heel toe clamp, clamp,
Yep,
clamp like
yep,
that, right? And takes you out of the film. When you're watching it, you're like, oh, that doesn't sound right. And then now you're not focusing on what's happening on screen, right? So I
Oh.
would encourage, where you can, try recording your own sound effects.
Make your own
Try
sound effect.
try making your own sound effects. We call it Foley, okay? Look into what Foley is, Foley, okay? Um, but look into what it is, so you have tailor-made sound effects for your film that doesn't distract people. In film, we have sound effects for things that you wouldn't even think about. Things like paper bags rustling,
Yep,
right?
yep.
Things like if someone's running versus if they're running on road or if they're running on gravel, it's two
Sand,
different
yeah,
sound
yeah.
effects. And you can't get that from just putting a camera down and recording. You have to add in the sound later.
Yep.
So you would have to watch it, record your own sound, and then you'll have tailor-made sound for your film, and that's what makes it feel finished.
I'd like to add on and share my experience to this. And it can tie back to the idea of respecting each other. When I made one of my film, we shot this film in Europe, and it was a scene in a park, and we had to do additional sounds such as the birds are chirping, there's a bit of cars and etc. So I told my sound designer, let's just download from YouTube sound of a park.
Easy.
So that's easy. And he said something that until today it sticks in my mind. Birds in Europe and birds in
Malaysia.
Malaysia sounds different.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a different species. We won't even go into cars. The cars in Europe and the cars in
Malaysia, yeah.
Malaysia is different. They make different sound.
Yeah.
Yep.
So because of that, and I respected his point of view, additional money was pumped in. We went to find more money so that we can go back to Europe, re-record
Record.
the sound there, and then come back to Malaysia and redo that.
Yes.
Wow.
And only
Yes.
because of that, things work together, magic happens. Yeah.
Wow.
But it needs to be sensitive. Even like I said earlier, birds don't sound
Yeah.
the same.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, because yeah, it doesn't click. Everything doesn't click in one thing, It's not universal, so you need to find a way to make it match.
Yes.
Because yeah, because of that. So
Let's move on to 12th question. Okay, I think this is important question. What are some common editing mistakes that new creators should avoid? Editing mistakes.
Editing mistakes. Using the wrong transitions for things.
Transitions.
Right? Using transitions at all.
I think sound effects could be also included here, right?
It could, but transitions, okay, there are certain things like, when something, you should learn about what it means to fade to white, what it means to fade to black,
Yeah.
what are, different cuts, hard cuts, fast cuts, match cuts, right? The right transition will push your story forward. The wrong transition makes it look cheap. So for me, you will go through multiple editing versions. You'll have version 1, version 2, version I'm gonna lose my mind, version everyone's lost their mind. Final, right?
Yeah.
But in all those versions, you have to pay attention to the different transitions between each scenes to not make it look like just a montage of footage. Yep, and understanding what those transitions mean. I mean, it goes to just like, of course you're going to think about sound, of course you're going to think about colors and all that, but one thing that always slips up for me is the use of transitions and
Different
not
transitions,
understanding.
different meaning.
Yes, they
Different
have
functions.
meanings to it that
I
we
give
don't
you
know.
an
Different
example of how a transition means. Students or a lot of new filmmakers will always put the cross dissolve.
Cross dissolve.
Yes, but not knowing what the cross dissolve means.
Yep.
The idea of dissolve in filmmaking means time has passed.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, for example, you are walking and then you cross dissolve. Suddenly, it's just another man walking, but he is now 70 years old. So it shows time has passed.
Yep.
Yeah.
But now I see new filmmakers just put in dissolve. Oh, it looks nice.
Yes. They're like, oh,
and
I
but-
like like what that looks like.
But please don't use those cheap free filters with the stars
The
coming
spiral.
out.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
can use
yeah,
it.
yeah.
I give you an example. If the film is a very, fun, happy teenage girl film that uses very cute
Yeah, like Mean
things,
Girls.
Comedy,
Yeah.
yes,
fun memes.
then you can
Yeah.
use that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's always a function to everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But you need to understand, like, yeah, so the uses of everything, even there are old transitions and new transitions. If you watch any films by Quentin Tarantino, so he has a lot of like these old Hollywood kind of transition. It's very fast versus something like, I don't know if you watch like Shaun of the Dead, where it's like fast cuts and all that. So yeah, just making sure that they're appropriate and they enhance your story rather than, oh, I think it just looks nice. You have to know the meaning behind them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. So, yeah, I think transitions play a key role also because, yeah, as Miss Kisdina has said, it makes your film look cheap if you've used the wrong transition. Especially in CapCut, there are a lot of free dangerous transitions to use. Imagine if you use a fire transition coming out of nowhere and it's just going to ruin your whole movie.
Yeah.
But I think that's common sense. Everybody
Yeah.
should understand that. Anyways.
Also, example, if you create a horror short film, don't just put random transitions like PowerPoint transition.
Yeah, the box moving. Yeah,
The box moving. So please use the correct
a proper
proper
and
suitable
appropriate. Yes.
transition.
Yes.
And I'm
yes.
not saying, I think maybe we have to put a point here. Not Transitions are not wrong.
They're not wrong, no.
And in fact, all the transitions that you get to in all the free editing softwares like CapCut, they're not all wrong, but they need to serve a function.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So moving on to the 13th question. Could you suggest any reliable, user-friendly software or tools for video editing?
This one maybe I'll just answer it quickly. Before these pro tips, 2 weeks ago we've done workshops which is available online. That workshop includes 1 hour of how to use CapCut for free.
Yep.
So for all the participants, you may want to do a recap. The link is still there. Watch that video, and CapCut is a very powerful tool.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, CapCut is the answer.
Okay. If we look at the watch, we already
Running out
we
of time.
almost reached our time. So let's move on to our last and final question. Any final tips for us to win? For us and our viewers to win? Any final
Miss
tips?
Christina, your final wisdom words.
Oh.
Final tips, the
Final
most
tips.
important tips that we should.
This is gonna sound cliche, but have fun. Have fun. Believe in your project. Make sure you get together a good team. Make sure everyone is on the same page and everyone's enjoying the project. Because at the end
Yep.
of the day, this is something that you want to be proud of.
Yep.
You don't want to have a film that you create and then you stop talking to your friends and then you're just angry and then every time you watch the
Yeah.
film, you're like, I hate this film. Okay.
Yeah.
So have fun. Really think, like, don't put so much pressure on yourself. This is just like you're starting out. You never know what this could lead to. So keep an open mind in terms of like opportunities and experiment. Yes.
Always try something new.
Always try
How about
something
you,
new.
Mr. Ghazi?
I want to say have fun, but you already stole the answer. That's important. I think that's
Yeah.
very, very key. So I'll move on to the second more important thing. Be humble. I think when you start being humble, you start to listen. Even as a director, I can say to my actor, I want it to be this way. I want you to cry at the 5th second. But when I start listening to my actor, maybe he or she will have a different perspective. And when I do that, there's a better collaboration. And everybody is happy. It's not about making everybody happy, but it is about respecting. Put our ego down, be humble, and just respect each other.
Yeah. So thank you to both of our judges here for a very vibrant discussion for today. But for the final question, we've also got a video from
From
Mr.
Mr.
Adam
Adam
Zainal.
Zainal.
So let's play the final
Alright,
video.
let's go.
Any final tip for us to win this?
Final tip. I think if you had fun making your video, there's always like a high chance that it will be really good. Because I think the same advice was given to me by my teachers and my lecturers before. Whenever you want to like create something, always have fun making it. Don't torture yourself, because if you torture yourself, it might not turn out as good. Having fun with it can actually like have a good outcome. So I just really hope that everyone would have fun just making your video, telling your story, having fun characters, good cinematography, good editing. If you have fun doing it, I think it might give you a chance to win.
Yeah, I totally agree with Sir Adam Zainal there. So it's very unfortunate for him to not join us today, as we could see that he's really happy for us for him to answer
Yeah,
our questions.
but still
But
thank you for Adam Zainal, even though he didn't come here, but he already give us and you some advices
yeah,
for tips today.
so since it's already 12 o'clock or 11:59 to be exact, we're going to conclude today's discussion about pro tips. So, yeah, Jose, what are your opinions for today's discussion?
I think today's workshop is very useful for me because even though I've experienced so many short films and animations competitions, I still didn't know how to actually make better and
Yeah,
high quality like
yeah.
professional level short film.
There are always
So
things that,
with the advice from Mr. Zainal, Miss Christina, and Mr. Ghazi, I learned a lot. I've learned a lot. Yeah,
yeah,
and inshallah for this drama I can create better and better film.
yeah, I totally agree with Jose because Jose is really expert at editing videos and such, especially in animation, since he uses applications that is distinguished by Apple, since our school is an ADS school.
Yes.
Um, and referring to his points that there are always things that he hasn't know yet. I think that is also a moral or lesson that we could learn today, that even that if you think that you've already learned things that is already basic, there's always something more to learn, something
Yes.
more deep to learn. There's always things to learn, yeah.
If I can add that from the judge's point of view, and especially, we always judge, we always look forward to watch the film.
Mhm.
Because as much as we hope you've learned something from here, when we watch 100 over films, we've learned 100 over new things. We
Yeah.
Yes.
judges also learn from you guys, so please wow us. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, inshallah.
So we're going to close today's session. Thank you so much for viewing our session today, since especially if you've seen it from the beginning to the end. And yeah, thank you to Mr. Ghazi and Miss Christina
And also
and Mr. Adam
Adam
Zainal also
Zainal.
for your efforts in
Okay.
creating your really
Yes.
vibrant videos.
And again, don't forget to click that
Like,
subscribe button, share with all of your friends, your teachers, and also follow the Sustain Drama IG, Instagram.
so
Okay, I
thank you
think
and good afternoon. Goodbye.